Hey guys, today I want to show you some useful tips and tricks for taking pictures on the new map, Beringia map on Path of Titans. So we're loading this replay here. I will say some tips and tricks I already said in my previous video, but this one is specifically made for Beringia map, since it's very different from Gondwa or Panjura or even Cerulean. This map is very different. It has very different colors and lights, so this video is specifically for Beringia, but it will have many tips you can use for taking pictures in general. So here we are with our Allosaurus. As you can see, this map looks beautiful. It's not really good for playing. It doesn't even have quests or fish or anything. It's not a great map to play on, but it's amazing for taking pictures, which we can all agree is the most important thing you can do with this game. So as you can see, the colors, the lights, everything looks way better than Gondwa and Panjura. As you can see, the sky, especially the sky, has this realistic tone. It doesn't have the weird pink sky, orange or purple sky the Gondwa has. That's awful on Gondwa. So yeah, the lights here look way better, and everything just looks more natural. I think this map is even better than Panjura in many ways. So here we have our Allosaurus. I personally think Allosaurus has a really good model, one of the best models in the game. For texture, for quality of the textures, and overall model isn't too bad. I'm playing on PlayStation 5, so these are my specs for anyone wondering that. I wanted to say something really obvious, but the skin of your dinosaur will have a big impact on your pictures. I think most of the times the coolest skin isn't the one who will look better in a picture. As you can see in this on this Allosaurus, which is a replica of my Natis Allosaurus Jimmy, I use this skin with black eyes. I kind of like black eyes on dinosaurs in this game. I don't know if that's accurate. I don't think anybody knows, but I think that they look nicer than the others options. I personally think blue eyes or green eyes in this game just look silly and not good enough. Black eyes look especially good on herbivore dinosaurs like Styracosaurus or Iguanodon. I don't know why, maybe because they remind us of cows or something like that, but there are some exceptions. It's not a universal thing. There's some exceptions, like Dilophosaurus, for example. Dilophosaurus looks beautiful with yellow eyes or orange eyes, but all of this because I wanted to say the skin, the eyes, the pattern, of the dinosaur you're gonna snap a pic, it's some work. I put a lot of work in choosing the right skin and the right eyes, the right everything. So the first thing I want to do when I take the picture is going to the rendering tab and always remove this shadowing on the corners of the pictures. As you can see, you can disable it. The more you increase, the more the shadow will be bigger. But if you set it to 0, it would still have some shadowing on the corners. So I just set it to 0.05 and it removes completely. And for the bloom intensity, I think it doesn't really matter if you don't have like something glowing like the sun or some reflection in the water or something like that. If you don't have anything like that, you can ignore the bloom intensity. If you have like sun rays like these ones, as you can see, you increase the bloom intensity and the lighting of all these things will be bigger, more intense. But I usually just set it like this, and if I needed to change it, I will change it afterwards. Then when you have a pose that you like, I think this one is pretty cool. I like the look around animation of Allosaurus. So another very important thing is the field of view and the zoom. This is a universal thing for every picture in Path of Titans. I try to stay at least at this level here, not below that. And the reason is very, very simple. As you can see, this looks way better than this. So you can just move away and zoom in. If you don't have any obstacles or rocks or stuff, it can be tricky because you're very far from the dinosaur, but yeah, I try to stay at least like this. And this is very, very important to have a cool shot, a cooler proportions, and especially if you're sharing your pictures in on mobile devices and you want to send it, I don't know, on mobile phone, you want to send it to a friend on WhatsApp and stuff like that. If the animal looks big, the photo will be nicer. Because on the big screen, most of the pics will look nice, but when they will be small on your phone, the effect will be different. So I think we can zoom in a little bit more, something like this. Then when you're absolutely sure that you will not move your camera or your dinosaur anymore, you can set your focus, which I'm not entirely sure that I will not move the camera anymore. I'm still looking for the perfect pose, but I'm a picky bastard. So we stay like that. As I said in my previous video, I only use the first and the last bars. I don't think these ones really do anything useful, so you just set your focus. I think most of the times you just want to have your dinosaur in focus like this, and then you can blur out everything else as much as you like. There's no, as I said, there's no really a standard setting or a good or bad setting here. It just comes down to personal tastes and each picture is different. So I usually try to have some blur because I think everything looks more dramatic, more, I don't know, cooler, overall cooler. Then after that you have to choose your lights, and this map has very good lights. So as you can see, this doesn't look good enough as this. This looks nicer because the light is directly on the Allosaurus face, when this is not as good. And I don't know if the quality of the video is good enough for you to notice that, but try to zoom in a little more and look at the eye of the Allosaurus. Let's set it in focus. Damn, I hate PlayStation controls on this replay. As you can see, the eye of the Allosaurus, I'll try to move it away so you can see it with my menu on. If we can move the reflection on his eyes, moving the sun. So the sun is moving and the reflection of the sun on his eyes is moving as well. And this is very cool because you can find a nice reflection, and it's a nice touch if you're, especially on very close up photos. But I think we were like this before messing everything up. When it comes to Gondwa or Panjura, I sometimes like to take my pictures when the sun is gone, but the weather isn't entirely night. I think it's like this. Around this time, or maybe earlier, not with the sun, but just after the sun is gone, but it's not entirely night yet. Not like this, but something like more like this. And you can have on sunsets or sunrise as well. And the reason I try to I do that, it's because how awful overcast weather looks in Gondwa and Panjura, but it looks awesome in this map. So you don't have to do that. And if you're in this map and you change to overcast weather or even rainy weather, it does look good as well if the game wants to cooperate, but it doesn't. Okay, now it's overcast. As you can see, it does look good. It doesn't look as bad as in Gondwa. It looks nice. And so you can just level your exposure to make everything looks natural. In this map, you just have to set the weather on overcast. But on Gondwa or Panjura, you can't, because overcast weather just looks foggy and fucked everything up. So my trick on Gondwa or Panjura is to set the time of day when the sun is already gone, but it's not dark yet. So yeah, there's different tricks for different maps and different settings. There are a lot of things. But yeah, for this video we'll stay with clear sky, even if the game doesn't seem to. Okay. So we'll just go back to our previous spot. In yeah, the scene is changed a bit, but it's fine. So when you found your scene, your pose, your camera angle, and your time of day, the last thing you have to do is moving your exposure. And this is also different from the other maps because in Gondwa and Panjura, I usually set my exposure very high, mostly because of the color scheme of the game of those maps, because they have very vibrant, very cartoonish color schemes, and so setting the exposure very high helps lowering the saturation a bit. It's like a weird trick since we don't have a proper saturation setting here, unfortunately. But in this map, this is not really needed. As you can see, the color scheme is pretty cool. If I could lower the saturation a bit, I would do that. But still, it's not necessary to have a very high exposure and cause everyone a headache. You can just set the exposure to 1.1 or 1.2 on this map with these lights in clear sky. When you're taking overcast pics, you can set the exposure higher, because with overcast weather the picture would look darker. So I think this is pretty cool. Just moves the sun a bit and maybe lowering exposure. I don't know, I'm just playing around. I took, I think, 4 or 5 replays to make this video, and I ended up loading this one, but I wasn't prepared to what I was shooting. I just recorded a clip of an Allosaurus screaming and looking around. It's like 33 seconds long. So I think we were like this. So yeah, every map is different. We don't have Cerulean Island anymore, but on Cerulean Island I actually used to set the exposure lower than 0, because Cerulean has this, or I gotta say, Cerulean had a very weird color lights and contrast. So I personally liked setting the exposure a little lower and the sun on like the highest possible, like between midday or 2 p.m., something like that, so you could have like very blue water but with low exposure, and which not blind everyone out. But yeah, another thing I want to say is in Gondwa, since we're talking Beringia, but a useful tip for Gondwa, I think we can all agree that the worst thing that happened to this game are tints. And Gondwa has tints, and that's one of the reasons why Gondwa looks way worse than any other map in this game. But you can actually disable tints in replay. It's not easy, it's a bit tricky, but if you like play along with this timeline, with the timeline of the clip, you can actually disable for like half a second or something the tints in the game. So especially where tints are very strong, places like birchwoods or burnt forest, places like that have very strong tints, you can actually disable them. I usually do that because I prefer the game without tints by far. So yeah, that's pretty much it. As you can see, I don't like the exposure in this pic. I think a little more like this, and that's it. And you just snap a pic. And I hope you guys found this useful, and that's it. Thank you all.